Hey, what's going on, guys? Back here today to make a ballistics test video. Today we're going to be testing expansion primarily. I will throw in some accuracy, a brief overview of accuracy for the slugs that we're about to use. But today we've got something all the way from overseas. These are a slug from a company called Zan Projectiles. They're marketed or made in Slovenia, and if you guys haven't checked them out, here's a quick look at what their website looks like. ZanProjectiles.com. You can see here they've got great prices. They've got several different sizes of slugs. And back to what we're going to go for today, we're going to be doing ballistic expansion tests. And what that entails is I'm going to shoot several different slugs. I've got 22 caliber. In that caliber, I have a 25 grain slug that I'll be testing. In 25 caliber, I have three different weights, 33 grain, 35 grain, 37 grain. We're going to be testing out of three different setups. I've got the impact tuned to the hilt. It's got high power. It's going to be shooting the 37 grains. And then for 22 caliber, we're going to be using the Wildcat Mark III. So when I set out to do these tests, I don't intend on having everybody use the same setup that I'm using. And I document the speeds. We'll be documenting our speed at the muzzle, documenting our speed at 50 yards, and then documenting our speed at 90 yards. I'm going to put my chronograph all the way out at 90 yards and shoot through it to see what our speed is at 90 yards to make sure and see what our expansion is. At the end of the test, we're going to take all the slugs that we shot into the gel and compare them and kind of go over some results and the damage in the gel and kind of review, see what we're going to learn, see what our results tell us, and see how they expand and how they perform. A few things that I'm going to be looking for initially. One is, of course, accuracy. But like I said, we're not going to be too worried about accuracy. All these slugs do group for me great, and I will show maybe a more in-depth accuracy test on these later. But they are grouping, and I've been able to group them out of several different rifles. So if you guys are interested in whether or not you can, they'll shoot out of your setup, I'd say they're worth trying. So we're going to check accuracy. We're going to check for expansion, and on two levels. We're going to check how much damage was caused to the cavity at maximum expansion, and secondly, we're going to look at how far it actually has to penetrate the gel before it opens up and expands. If you're shooting small game, a slug that takes 6 inches to fully expand doesn't really do you no good as far as expansion and energy transfer on target. What we're looking for is something that expands within an inch. So some of the slugs that we've tested so far, if you haven't seen any of the other ballistic tests I've done, kind of like a baseline, the varmint knocker slugs have performed about the best. They expand almost upon entering the gel, within half an inch, and these are a very soft slug. Let me show you guys some pictures here. Here's all three weights. This picture here, we're comparing the 22 caliber, and that's next to a JSB Knockout and an FX Hybrid. So those are what those three look like. Here's a peek at the 25 caliber that we have, and there's also a JSB Knockout. This one's a varmint knocker, and here is an FX Hybrid. And then here on the other end is a 36 grain NSA slug. So there's a kind of a comparison on all of them. As far as lead mixture goes, these are very soft. They're softer than the hybrids, the H&N slugs. They're pretty comparable to the knockouts. Pretty comparable to the varmint knockers. They're very soft. You can tell just by handling them, you can almost pinch them. You can definitely dent them with your fingernail. So in the past, having a slug that is that soft has resulted in fast expansion and expansion at slow speeds. So that'd be ideal for any of you guys who don't have a high power setup that are looking to shoot these slugs and get them to expand and kind of really transfer the energy to whatever target you're shooting. So that's enough of an intro for now. Let's go ahead and move some stuff out to the shooting bench. We're going to document our speed at the muzzle and at our 50 yards. I'm going to show you guys some brief 50-yard groups. We'll kind of blaze through that, and then we'll go ahead and swap out our ballistics gel over there on target, and we'll start shooting. Alright guys, let's start off with the 37 grain 25 cal Zan Slugs. I'm going to take 5 shots, and we'll see what our grouping looks like, and then we'll go down there and measure it. Let's switch out to the next setup and test the next slug. So let's go ahead and put another 5-shot group. Okay, so there's our 5-shot group. I didn't really adjust the settings too much except for the power wheel, so that last shot string wasn't as consistent as possible, but still good enough for our tests. Like I said earlier on, our focus on the test is the expansion. They are accurate, and if you need to work on a tune for each slug, I don't think you guys would have any problems if you have anything that's set up for slugs. So let's go ahead and switch out to the last setup, and we'll finish off with that. That'll finalize our accuracy test, and we'll go down and measure our results. Alright guys, last up for our accuracy show, we're going to go with the 22 caliber Wildcat, Slug Liner A, 700mm barrel, and we're going to be using the 22 caliber 25 grain Zan Slugs. So let's fire off 5 shots and see what our grouping looks like and check our speeds. Alright, there's our 5. I'm going to walk you guys down to the target to pull out some calipers, and we'll go over some groups, and then we'll get on with the ballistic tests. So this is where we were shooting, just so you guys know. That's where our targets are. Alright, so I'm going to walk you guys down there, and we'll take a look at the tests. So let's fast forward to the targets. Alright guys, we made it. And I've got the calipers. Let me see here. There we go. Zeroed. I'm going to go with inches. So first off, this top center group was the 37 grain Zans. So we are 0.8. Here was the 33 grain Zans. 0.5. And a little bit less for our group with the Wildcat. 0.5. So there's our accuracy verification. They do group well. Let's go ahead and swap out to the gel and get started with the tests. Alright, first round up into the gel is the 22 caliber 25 grain slugs. Let me shoot one on target just to make sure we're zeroed, and then we'll go into the gel. Alright, that's 2 into the gel. Let's go ahead and swap out with the impact, and we'll shoot those 2 rounds of slugs, then we'll go down there and check it out. Alright, up next, the 33 grain Zan Slug and 25 cal. We should still be zeroed, so let's go straight into the gel. Okay, let me swap out to 37 grains and we'll shoot that next. Alright, up next is the 37 grain Zans. Let me shoot a couple on target first. Alright, now into the gel. Alright, let's go down there and examine the results. Alright, here we are. And let's take a look. So, I'll get you guys a good view here. Looks like the results are pretty impressive. I believe we had on this side here was our 22. These two here, these two are 33 grains, and then I shot 3. I think it's these 3 here. I'll have to look at the slow motion. With the 37 grain, from where I was at, I wasn't sure if it expanded or if I hit a good solid hit. But you can tell here, we definitely got some good expansion. Less than a finger, so we're looking at maybe, I'll have to measure it. Half inch or less before the, so within after the slug hit the gel, half inch of penetration is all it took for the slug to fully expand and cause maximum damage. Just try to let you guys get a few different views of this. Looks pretty good. Alright, so the first results were pretty good. You know, that's exactly what you want to see in a slug at that distance. What I'm going to do next is flip this gel block around, set it out at 94 yards is what we got, and we'll repeat this test. I'm also going to throw the chronograph out there and see if we can get some speeds while we do this test. Alright, I had to switch the angles of the camera just because of the sun. I was getting the camera hot, so I know I'm kind of in the shade and it's not the most ideal situation, but all I'm doing here is going to shoot at 94 yards and see if I can get some of these rounds to chronograph. I've got my chronograph way down range in front of the target, and we're going to see if we can get some readings so we can get our speeds before we swap out our gels, so we know what our slug speed is at the target. So let's go ahead and get started. First off is the 37 grain. Alright, let's shoot through the chronograph and see. Okay, let's swap it out to the 33 grain slugs. Okay, up next, the 33 grainers. Okay, let's swap out to the last setup. Alright, last up, the 22 caliber 25 grain slugs. Alright, shoot into the chronograph. Alright, let's go see if we got some numbers, and we'll switch out our chronograph with our block of gel, and we'll shoot our gel at 94 yards and see what our results are. Okay, I've got the ballistics gel set up. We're going to fire a few shots off target just to confirm that we're still on target, and then I'll put a few rounds into the gel, and we'll cycle through starting with a 22 cal Wildcat, shooting at 25 grain Zan Slug. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, there's two good ones into the gel. Let's swap out to the next setup, 33 grain, 25 cal. Alright, next up, 33 grain Zan Slugs, 94 yards into the gel. Okay, there's two into the gel. Let's switch it out to the 37 grains and we'll finish up our test. Okay, last slug for the day, 37 grain Zans. See if we can hit the target. Alright, let's go get the gel. We'll take a look at it over there, and then we'll head to the table and we'll examine our results. Okay, just so I can show you guys, this is where we were at, and where I'm shooting at is 94 yards. You can see my gel, my camera, and my homemade backstop. Alright, let's walk down there and check it out. Alright guys, I made the long walk out here. Move my stuff out of the way, my camera. And alright, so here's our results. Looks like we got one that exited the gel. I thought we had one that wasn't a good hit, so I shot an extra. All of them expanded. It looks like on some of them we've got the jacket has detached. Not the jacket, sorry. The skirt, the ring that mushrooms back has detached. Here's what it looks like head on. Looks like we got some pretty good expansion. Again, the things that I look for is how fast it expands once it hits the gel. And as you guys can see, we've got less than a thumb, so equal to our performance from 50 yards. So definitely good results. That's the kind of results I like to see. You can see that impact right there. That would happen within a pigeon, within a squirrel, prairie dog, a rabbit, raccoon. So if you shot him with that one, that would dump all its energy right there in that little short distance, and that's what you want in a slug. That's the kind of performance that you want to see. That's exactly how they should expand. So let's take this back. Let's take it over to the table, and we'll look at some results side by side with our other 50-yard tests, and we'll do some conclusions. Alright guys, here we are with our gel, and kind of want to show you guys some close-ups of what the penetration look like, expansion look like in the sun. Sometimes it looks different when I can hold it up like this. So what we can take away from this is that the lighter weight slugs offered a very good pop. The heavier weight slugs carried a wound channel farther through it. So both of them expanded within the same distance, so you got good energy there. The main difference I'm seeing between here looking at this is that these longer ones up here, they carried their wound cavity farther into the gel than the lighter weight ones did. And the bottom ones, they're kind of hard to see. I'm trying to see myself, sorry guys. The ones on the bottom, they're the 33 grain, and actually no, I take that back. The ones on the bottom are the 22 caliber, and the wound cavity isn't quite as big. I'm talking about that one right there, this one right here, both of these are 22 cal. And the wound cavity is not quite as big as these here, the 33 grains, but still significant. And you know, when you're talking about you know, going from 25 grains to 33 grains and 22 cal to 25 cal, that's still pretty comparable as far as expansion. So I'd say the 22 caliber slugs here definitely punch above their weight. So let's pull out the 100 yard or 94 yard block and take a look at that one. Okay, this one is a little bit harder to see because it's a thicker block, but we can see a nice little expansion ball there. Same here. You can see the tears that it caused. There's not much to be seen through the side just because it's a thicker block, and the bottom is just kind of fuzzy from pouring it. But I'll try to show some better sections of this. But from what I see in here, I can see a little bit better than the camera. We have the same results. We have the lighter weight slugs causing a nice little pop, and the heavier slugs creating a channel farther into the tissue, into the gel. So I'm going to go ahead and pull all these out. We'll stack them to the side, and then we'll have our final thoughts, and we'll wrap the video up there. Alright guys, here's a close-up of the slugs. I'm going to flatten one of these out of each just so we can see what the maximum expansion was, and then we'll compare them here in the end. Let me go ahead and dissect the second block. Okay guys, here's another close-up from the 100-yarders, and one thing I noticed is that the jacket, not the jacket, the little skirt here, the part that mushroomed, has almost all but detached on both the 22 and the 25, and that's in the farther one. So that's kind of some interesting results. Let me go ahead and get all this stuff put away, and we'll get set up to do our final thoughts. Alright guys, so here's the little chart that I got compiled showing you guys what the results are. I'm going to key in the ballistic coefficient right here. So I had to add those in just because I haven't downloaded the footage yet to actually pull the information off the lab radar. But there it is right there in the ballistic coefficient column. So what we see here, starting off with 22 caliber here, that's excellent expansion. Almost half an inch at 50 yards, and still, you know, negligible difference out to 94 yards. Same holds true with the rest of the calibers, and our grain. What it's showing here, the difference between the two, both of them have good energy. Both of them impacted the gel about the same as far as how soon they cause damage. The main difference being that the heavier grain slug carried more of that energy through the target and kind of left a longer wound channel, as opposed to a shorter type, like a firecracker type pop that the lighter weight slugs did. So excellent performance from all of them. These are ideal for pest control. You know, if you're shooting, you want to put maximum energy transfer onto something, these slugs are going to be an excellent choice, and I would definitely recommend going with them. So this was definitely a time-consuming video to make. If you guys do like these videos, leave me a comment letting me know. That way I'll continue. It motivates me to continue to do these videos. It takes almost all day to shoot these, and then another day or two to edit them to get all the information synced up. But I like to find out the results, you know, and to come out and shoot the gel tells a lot, especially when you can put the slow motion camera on top of it and kind of see, you know, break it down and see what's actually happening, and see what the energy transfer is as it's happening. So I really like to find out those results. If you guys like this, like I said, let me know. That'll allow me to give me the motivation to do these type of ballistics gel tests on other slugs. I'd like to do it on 30 caliber, the NSA slugs, and if you guys would like to see heads-up slug comparisons like this slug versus that slug, we'd be obviously comparing them on with a purpose, say for pest control. You know, you want something that's going to expand pretty rapid. If you're going for something bigger like fox or coyote, the rapid expansion isn't necessarily what you desire. It's probably something with a little bit better penetration is what you desire. So when we compare these head-to-heads, we'll have to have a purpose from the get-go. Otherwise, it's kind of unfair to say one is better than the other. But within those kind of guidelines, I'd like to do some comparisons head-to-head. Let me know what you guys want to see. I'll try to stick within the same calibers, or even if you wanted to compare different calibers to each other in the same slug to see what the differences are. But this kind of showed us here that the caliper between 22 and 25, both of them performed well. You know, there is barely any difference between the 22 cal and the 25 cal as far as maximum expansion, and both of them are going to leave a pop in the target. You know, the lighter weight just isn't going to carry quite as far into the target, which is, you know, if you're shooting small game, doesn't matter. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap that up here. Anything I didn't cover, leave me a comment in the comment section, and I will get back to you guys. Any other specs, I'll try to leave it down in the description of this video. And stay tuned for more. I'll be working on a hunting video every week and every other week. So the schedule I try to put out is a hunting video, then a tech video, then a hunting video, and a tech video. So stay tuned. I try to get everything out on Fridays, and sometimes my internet service out here doesn't do too well, and it takes me a couple days. I actually have to go into town and upload the video. So minus that, I try to put up a video every week. So thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for more.